and tapped her perfectly manicured fingernails on her very expensive blouse sleeve. "You're allowed to have a life, you know. I have a whole bunch of employees, any number of whom would be happy to cover." "Don't worry about it," I repeated. "I'm happy to help, and she'll return the favor one day when I'll need it." She nagged me at least once a week about going out and having a social life, and I avoided giving her a concrete answer. With that look on her face, my streak of getting away with excuses was at an end. I opened my mouth and closed it when she raised one eyebrow that seemed to be pointing right at me. She had the most wolfish blue eyes, and glaring really emphasized that. I know, but it was a royalty emergency, and I don't mind helping. I'm just being a team player." She shook her head at me, giving up on the glare since it wasn't working anyway. "When are you going to do something besides work and go to school? They're called extracurricular activities. I believe you're familiar with them?" I grinned. She'd given me an out. "Yep, and extracurricular cost money, right? So it's a good thing I'm picking up an extra shift." She made a good try face. "You're not picking up all these extra shifts just because you need the money. You don't have to prove your worth here, Madison. You're the hardest worker I've ever had." I stiffened, keeping my smile on factor 9. It wasn't the first time she'd hinted that my work ethic was due to a need to prove myself. The problem was, she wasn't entirely wrong. No matter how hard I worked to not only pull my own weight but excel in sports, I was never good enough. Even when my grades, the game stats, or anything else told a different story. No matter how well I did, I could never quite shake the cluster of mean girls who cropped up whenever I went to my hometown. Always the same core group, a mix of traditional soccer star and head cheerleader types who didn't like that despite my thicker, curvier body, I could kick their ass on a field any day. It was like if I was good, it disproved their own athletic excellence. If I was fat, the hard work they did to keep fit wasn't worth it. I just didn't get it. After a particularly dejected call to my dad, he suggested transferring, and I jumped at the chance. Bay State U could be a fresh start. I needed to get away from the nastiness aggravated by my mother's hurtful way of thinking. She saw the harassment as encouragement for me to lose weight. No matter what kind of evidence I showed her about weight and health, she refused to even understand the difference between body fat and weight. Her fat phobia was just too ingrained. I'd given up. "Oh, goody," Selena said and grabbed my arm. "Brace yourself. Dire Wolves football team incoming." My heart rate immediately jackknifed. Football team meant Luca. Tall, dark eyes, too hot for his own good, and nicer than a dip in the pool on a summer day, and a voice that did something entirely inappropriate below the belt. I'd heard the other girls at work refer to him as a Big D, but he'd never treated me like a douchebag. I'd reluctantly let myself daydream about him, a little hot, athletic type who was also friendly and didn't look down on me because of my body type. Sign me up for that, at least in my fantasies. In reality, I settled for our regular coffee time chats, letting my guard down for 5 minutes at a time. He continued to be something rare, a jock who wasn't completely full of himself. I glanced through the wide front windows to grab a quick head count as well as identify team members. Any good barista remembered the orders of the regulars. As Selena manned the register, I got to work starting the bases for a series of the football team's most popular drinks. "Hey, Selena," I heard Lucas say in his baritone drawl. "How's my favorite girl?" Selena snorted. "Madison, Luca says hello." I stiffened, closing my eyes and pretending I wasn't about to die of embarrassment. Selena was on this matchmaking kick, and I'd seen the results of that on my fellow coworkers. Just because Charlie, Hunter, Adeline, and even Rosie, who didn't work here but basically lived in the corner booth, were deliriously happy with the boy.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.